Smart English Studio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smart English Studio.
Today's lesson is inspired by viewer comments.
Yes, because many learners tell us the same thing. They understand English words,
They understand grammar.
but then they speak to British people and suddenly think, wait, what did they really mean?
Exactly.
British English can be confusing because people are often very indirect.
Especially when they want to be polite.
And sometimes the phrase sounds soft, friendly, or casual.
But the real meaning can be stronger than you expect.
For example, if someone says, I'm not being funny, but...
They are probably about to say something quite serious.
Or if someone says, with all due respect.
There may not be much respect coming next.
Exactly.
So today we're going to look at common British phrases that confuse English learners.
We'll show you what they sound like,
What they often really mean.
and how to respond without panicking.
Because in real life, the dictionary meaning is not always enough.
You need the social meaning.
Ready? Let's begin.
Daniel, can I ask you something?
Of course.
Have you ever misunderstood a British phrase?
Oh, definitely. The first time someone said, "That's interesting," I thought they were interested.
And they weren't?
Not really. They looked at my idea and said, "That's interesting," very slowly.
Ah, that kind of interesting.
Exactly. I later realized it meant, "I'm not sure this is a good idea."
That is a classic one.
British people can use interesting as a polite way to say, "I have doubts."
Yes, the tone matters a lot.
If someone says, "That's interesting," with energy, it can be positive.
But if they say, that's interesting, slowly?
Be careful.
Exactly.
Okay, let's decode phrase 1.
Phrase 1, I'm not being funny, but...
This phrase sounds casual, but it often introduces criticism.
It does not usually mean someone is trying to be funny.
It often means I'm going to say something direct.
For example, I'm not being funny, but this report needs a lot more work.
That means the person thinks the report is not good enough.
Another example, I'm not being funny, but you were late again.
That means they are annoyed.
So when you hear, I'm not being funny, but prepare for criticism or a serious point.
A good response could be, "I understand. Thanks for being honest."
Or, fair enough, I'll take another look.
Very natural.
Phrase 2, with all due respect.
This one sounds very polite,
Very formal.
but in real conversations, it often means I strongly disagree.
For example, with all due respect, I don't think that plan will work.
That means I disagree with your plan.
Another example, with all due respect, we've already tried that.
That can mean your suggestion is not new.
So this phrase is polite on the surface, but the message can be quite firm.
How can learners respond?
You can say, I see your point.
Or, "That's fair. What would you suggest instead?"
Good, that keeps the conversation professional.
Good. Phrase 3, I'll bear that in mind.
This phrase means, I will remember that.
But socially, it can sometimes mean I'm not going to do it, but I'm being polite.
Exactly.
For example, you suggest something at work and someone says, "Thanks, I'll bear that in mind."
They may genuinely mean it.
Or they may mean, "Thank you, but probably no."
The tone matters again.
If they sound warm and ask follow-up questions, maybe they are interested.
But if they say it quickly and move on, it may be a polite rejection.
A good response is simple. Of course, just an idea.
Very natural.
Phrase 4, that's brave.
This one is dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Because brave sounds like a compliment, but sometimes in British English, that's brave means I think this is risky or maybe a bad idea.
For example, you're wearing white trousers to a barbecue? That's brave.
Meaning that might not end well.
Or you're going to email the director directly? That's brave.
Meaning, are you sure that's a good idea?
A good answer could be, too brave?
Nice. Or, do you think I should rethink it?
That sounds natural and open.
Phrase 5, that's not bad.
This one confuses many learners.
Because not bad sounds a bit negative, but in British English, not bad can actually mean quite good.
For example, how was the film? Not bad, actually.
That probably means it was pretty good.
Or, your presentation was not bad at all.
That can be a compliment.
British people sometimes understate positive feelings.
So not bad may be better than it sounds.
A natural response could be, thanks, I'm glad you think so.
Or better than expected?
Nice.
Phrase 6. Quite good.
This depends on the speaker and the tone.
Yes, quite good can mean good but not amazing.
For example, the food was quite good.
That may mean it was okay but not special.
But sometimes people use quite positively.
Exactly. This is why learners get confused. In British English, quite can soften the meaning.
If someone says it was quite good, they may be saying it was decent,
Not terrible.
but maybe not wonderful.
A good follow-up question is, would you recommend it?
Perfect.
Because then you get the real meaning.
Phrase 7, I suppose so.
This means yes, but not with strong enthusiasm.
Exactly. It is a weak yes.
For example, do you want to come with us?
I suppose so.
That sounds like, okay, but I'm not very excited.
Or, was the meeting useful? I suppose so.
That means maybe a little, but not really. So don't treat I suppose so as a happy yes. It is more like a reluctant yes.
A natural response could be, you don't sound very convinced.
Very natural.
Phrase 8, we should do this sometime.
This is a classic.
It sounds like a plan.
But often it's not a real plan yet.
For example, we should have coffee sometime.
That may mean that would be nice in theory.
But it doesn't always mean they're inviting you tomorrow.
If you want to make it real, you can say, that would be lovely. Shall we arrange a day?
Exactly.
Then you'll know if it was a real invitation or just friendly politeness.
Phrase 9, I'll let you know.
This can mean I will tell you later, but sometimes it means probably no, but I don't want to say no now.
For example, do you want to come on Saturday? I'll let you know.
It may mean they need to check, or it may mean they are avoiding a direct no.
Again, tone and context matter.
A good response is, no problem, just let me know when you can.
Simple and polite. Phrase 10, no worries.
This usually means it's okay or no problem.
For example, sorry I'm late. No worries.
Very common in spoken English,
But sometimes it can also hide mild frustration.
especially if the tone is flat.
No worries.
Meaning there are worries, actually.
Exactly. But most of the time, it's friendly.
Use it when you want to sound relaxed.
Phrase 11, fair enough.
This means I accept what you're saying.
But it doesn't always mean agreement.
Exactly. It can mean, okay, I understand your point.
For example, I can't come tonight. I'm really tired. Fair enough.
That means that's reasonable.
But in an argument, fair enough can also mean I don't fully agree, but I won't argue.
Very useful phrase.
Phrase 12, if you don't mind me saying,
This is a polite phrase before giving an opinion.
often a personal opinion.
For example, if you don't mind me saying, you look really tired.
Or, if you don't mind me saying, I think you should speak to your manager.
It softens the comment.
But the comment may still be quite direct.
A good response could be, no, that's okay, I appreciate your honesty.
Very natural.
Phrase 13, to be honest.
This means the speaker is going to say what they really think.
For example, to be honest, I didn't really enjoy it.
Or, to be honest, I think we need more time.
It can be soft, but the meaning is often direct.
So listen carefully after to be honest.
Because the real opinion is coming.
Phrase 14, it's a bit of a nightmare.
This does not usually mean a real nightmare.
It means something is difficult, annoying, or stressful.
For example, the traffic was a bit of a nightmare.
Or, trying to book the appointment was a bit of a nightmare.
British people often say a bit of to soften the sentence.
But the situation may still be very annoying.
A natural response, oh no, what happened?
Good.
Phrase 15, that's not ideal.
This means the situation is not good.
But it sounds calm and controlled.
For example, the train is canceled. That's not ideal.
Meaning, that is a problem.
Or, the client wants it by tomorrow. That's not ideal.
It is very British to say something small when the problem is actually big.
Very British.
Phrase 16, could be worse.
This means the situation is bad but not terrible.
For example, how's work? Could be worse.
That means work is not amazing.
but the person is trying to stay positive.
It is a very understated answer.
Phrase 17, you all right?
This confuses many learners.
Because it sounds like someone is asking if something is wrong.
But in British English, you all right can simply mean hello or how are you.
For example, someone at work says, you all right?
You can answer, yeah, good thanks, you?
You don't need to explain your whole emotional state.
Exactly.
Phrase 18, sorry to bother you.
This is a polite way to start a request.
For example, sorry to bother you, but could you help me with this?
It does not always mean the person is actually bothering you.
It is just polite.
Very common in British English.
Phrase 19, I was wondering if...
This is a softer way to ask for something.
For example, I was wondering if you could send me the file.
It sounds more polite than send me the file.
Very useful at work, in emails, and in daily life.
Phrase 20, cheers.
Many learners think cheers is only for drinking.
But in British English, it often means thanks.
For example, someone holds the door for you and you say, cheers.
Or someone gives you your coffee and you say, cheers.
It's casual and friendly.
Now let's hear a complete natural conversation using these phrases.
Listen carefully and try to notice the hidden meanings.
Ready?
Let's go. You're right, Daniel.
Yeah, good thanks. You?
Not bad. A bit tired, to be honest.
Same here. This week has been a bit of a nightmare.
Oh no, what happened?
The client changed the brief again.
That's not ideal.
No, and with all due respect, I don't think they know what they want.
That sounds frustrating.
It is. I'm not being funny, but we've already done 3 versions.
Fair enough. Have you spoken to them?
I sent an email this morning. I was wondering if they could give us clearer feedback.
Good idea.
They replied, we'll bear it in mind.
Ah,
Exactly. That did not sound promising.
no, it sounds like a polite maybe.
Or a polite no.
Possibly. What are you going to do?
I'll let you know when they reply properly.
No worries. Keep me posted.
Cheers.
By the way, we should have coffee sometime after this project.
Yes, we should. Shall we actually arrange a day?
Good point. Otherwise, sometime becomes never.
Exactly.
How about Friday?
Friday works. That's brave, though.
Why?
Because after this week, I might fall asleep in the cafe.
Fair enough. We can make it a strong coffee.
Sounds perfect.
Great. Now let's pause.
That conversation was full of British phrases.
And many of them had hidden meanings.
Exactly. The words were polite, but the meaning was sometimes stronger.
Let's quickly review.
I'm not being funny, but often introduces criticism.
With all due respect often means strong disagreement.
I'll bear it in mind may mean I'll consider it, but sometimes it means probably not.
That's brave can mean that sounds risky.
Not bad can actually mean quite good.
Quite good may mean good, but not amazing.
I suppose so is a weak yes.
We should do this sometime is not always a real plan.
I'll let you know can mean maybe or maybe not.
No worries usually means it's okay.
Fair enough means I accept your point.
If you don't mind me saying comes before a personal opinion.
To be honest means the real opinion is coming.
A bit of a nightmare means difficult or stressful.
That's not ideal means there is a problem.
Could be worse means not great but not terrible.
You all right can simply mean hello.
If you understand these phrases, British English becomes much less confusing.
Because you stop translating only the words.
And you start understanding the social meaning.
That is the real key.
Now we have a question for you.
Which British phrase has confused you before?
Write it in the comments.
For example, I'm not being funny, but...
Or, I'll let you know.
Or, that's interesting.
Thank you for listening to Smart English Studio.
Learn smarter, speak better.
See you in the next lesson.